Hey guys, what's going on? Hello, thanks for joining us. Um, this is our first webinar on Google Hangouts, and we're just trying it out. And please bear with us on any hiccups that we might have. This way, we feel that more people can get in on the training, and not only that, is that our videos will be online on YouTube and on the website for y'all to view at your pleasure at the time that's most convenient. It could be at midnight or an hour after this. It's not so much you just miss the train, it's done. So we hope that really helps. Today we're going to cover buyer lead generation and some ways that has proven itself to me, and that I've learned from other people on proven ways to get buyers. Buyers are easy money, and they're the best way to get a closing, essentially to get money in the next 30 to 45 days once you get a buyer. So right off the bat, just want to say that buyer, the market is shifting. Everyone's, this past couple of years, everybody's focused on sellers and getting listings, um, but it's cooling down pretty quickly. And the leverage, there's always leverage in every market. There's always leverage. Someone has a leverage. The past few years, it's been sellers. You could list a home and take one picture of it, and you'd have multiple offers. You could basically do no marketing and sell it very quickly, at very good terms for the seller. Years before that, I don't know how many of y'all have been in the market, longer than this last boom, but prior to 2012, 2011 and before, it was buyers. It was all buyers. A lot of listing agents had 20, 50 listings that didn't move. And I myself, I can look back and I remember showing buyers and saying, we'll go see 10 houses, minimum 10 houses. And my buyers could literally take a few days to think about it, come back and submit a less than full price offer, and the house would still be there, and they would probably get their offer accepted, and we can close. To whereas everybody knows now is that you see a house today and it's gone tomorrow. Well, it's kind of cooling down. We're still seeing that in the price range above about 300 and 350. That's where it starts to really cool down. So, but below that, I've had a couple listings recently that, below, 160, 170, even 199, and they sell rather quickly. But if you have a buyer for a high-end listing, anything, if you have a buyer that's above 300,000, you're gold, and you're leverage. You have leverage because it's really cooling down, and so buyers are gold. So we're going to go over today some ways to generate some buyer leads, aka generate some quick and easy money. So right off the bat, the tried and true method is, if you have a listing, you get buyers. My goal for a while has always been to at least close one buyer transaction from every listing that I get. And if you're not closing one buyer off your listings, off each and every one of your listings, one closing, then you need to adjust your methods, because that's the best way to get buyers, is to work the ones that you have. So with that being said, if you don't have a listing, that's okay. Other people have listings. So, I know y'all know what I'm going to say. Open houses. Open houses are awesome. If you do them right, they will work. And so that's just, we're going to talk about some ways to do it. If you don't have a listing, obviously you need to come to us at the office and say, hey, come to me or Spencer or Alma and say, hey, I want to work in an open house. Who has an open house? You can even go a step further and go in Fusion, go in the office listings, find a listing you like, and or in your target market. Maybe it's been sitting there, maybe it hasn't. Go to that listing and see the listing agent, and just shoot them an email, shoot them a phone call. Everybody here is real friendly. We want to see each other succeed. And quite a few of our top producers don't do open houses because they have other systems in place, and they're kind of they're busy enough where they don't have the time for that. So I'm sure they'd be more than happy to let you do an open house. Come to me. I have a couple for sure that you can work in different parts of Houston. Um, but let's specifically go over the open houses. So the number one way, go to an open house, and if you do the things that you're supposed to do, it's very easy. It's simple. It's simple. It's easy. It's definitely, it can be kind of a pain in the butt. I know it kind of sucks, especially during the summer. It's kind of cooling down. But during the summer months, I regularly go to my open houses with an extra shirt because I'm covered in sweat from putting up 20 open house signs. But it pays off. You need to do the open house. You need to do strategic planning, and I have some resources that y'all can use, and I will pull it up real quick. That way y'all can see. But if you just everyone might have their own checklist, but if you do these things, it will work. It will work. So here, I'm going to share this with y'all real quick. Boom. Okay. So this is my little open house checklist. Because even for me, I forget to do things. So, and this has changed a couple times. This has changed. It will continue to change on the way, from what I learn in my experience. But a few days before, it says for 3 days. I would even go 5 days before, or really schedule it in HAR the minute you know it's going live. If it's 2 weeks in advance, fine, do it. Hopefully, it's still there in 2 weeks. And even if it's under contract, you can always still hold an open house for a backup buyer. You never know. So, the number one thing is confirm date and time with a seller and listing agent, of course. And it'll go through everything. But oh yeah, and by the way, I'll have this as a download in the show notes. So you can email me, or we'll shoot y'all the link and y'all can download it. But this is really cool. This is the combination of Tom Ferry, Brian Buffini, and stuff that I've learned from other people. But it's everything is in here for a reason. In the first section, 10 directional signs. That's the minimum. That's the absolute minimum. If you want more success with your open house, you should, I would recommend 20 or 30. 10 is kind of the minimum, and I just have it there. But believe me, I put more than 10. And above that, so the map, I literally print out a map because it helps me. Once you print out a map and you put it in front of you, you can look at it and say, okay, where are the main thoroughfares? Where are the main streets? What's the flow of traffic? And where can I most effectively put my open house signs? Because, I've gotten lazy in the past, and, you just put them at the immediate corners, and what do you know? You don't get any walkthroughs, and you just wasted your 2 hours. I'm sure you did a lot of Facebook stalking, but that you're not. That's why you're not there. So if you want success and you want a buyer, it's easy. Just and everything in here is in here for a reason. So let's go over it real quick. Have open house flyers, have property info flyers, and I actually have some new strategies with some new technology that I've incorporated as a way to capture buyers' walkthrough information. We'll have another open house webinar and a class specifically for open houses. But I'm going to just briefly go over this with you because open houses is a tried and true method to get a buyer. At least one. There's no reason that you can't get at least one buyer that you can close in the next 45 days from an open house this weekend. And it's pretty awesome because you choose the buyer that you want. Do you want a buyer for a $500,000 house? Do you want a buyer for a $100,000 house? You just find a listing in that range and you go there and you do these things, and it'll pay off for sure. You'll at least get one. So that's on the few days before. On the 2 days before, if you want to be if you want to be a hustler, go knock on the doors around the property and invite the neighbors. This strategy is called a special neighbor preview. Say, hey guys, I want to invite y'all to to a special neighbor preview. That way, y'all can see the home. I know everybody wants to see their neighbor's house before anyone else does. So y'all can come in, and you always do it 30 minutes before the open house is set to start. So that way you get the herd mentality. So if you get the neighbors to go, let's say your open house starts at noon. If you get the neighbors to go at 11:30, and if you're doing it right and you do these things, they'll be there for at least half an hour. So when the buyers start to drip in, then they're gonna be they see the herd. They see the herd there. They see it's the herd effect. People want to go where everybody else is, and then what happens is you end up with a house full of a bunch of people that each think everyone else is going to buy the house, and then you'll really get you'll get some motivated buyers, hopefully, that'll want to put an offer. And again, I have to say that the goal of the open house is not to just get a buyer for that house; it's to get a buyer for any house. Everybody kind of knows the realistically the chance of you selling that house that you're in to a buyer you get is relatively low. It's pretty low, but the chances of you selling a house to them in general, any house, is very, very high. I've gotten tons of buyers that have turned into, I literally have a handful of buyers that have become great clients. One client that off the top of my head, I held an open house 2012, Super Bowl 2012. I'm not a big football guy. I did the open house, and everyone was like, dude, nobody's going to go. Nobody's going to be there. I was like, whatever. I already scheduled it. I'll go. Another guy showed up who didn't care about football. I didn't sell him that house, but I sold his townhome in Edo. 4 days on the market, sold her for like $250, and he bought the townhome across the street for $350. That was sweet. And then I just recently sold his house on that condo, and he ended up buying a house from his friend. But I got 3 transactions over 3 years for probably 25-30 grand in commission. So off of one open house, and that's just one example. So these things work, but I like the inviting the neighbors, because not only that, for the buyer's mentality, for people being there, but if you invite the neighbors, you're going to meet homeowners who in turn are sellers, who could be sellers one day. So, and that gives you an opportunity to build your database with homeowners. So, it's all about effectiveness and, doing the most that you can with your time. And, why not? You're working to get buyers and you're working to get sellers if you get those neighborhood, the special neighbor preview, so let's go down the list. Advertise on Craigslist. Craigslist still works for buyers. It still works for buyers. People think that there's deals on Craigslist and they want deals. And then, it's up to you to reel them in and get them as a client. But, we have training for that too. So we can definitely help you. The next one is crucial. I've done open houses in the past where I forget to do this and I kick myself in the butt, but you have to have info on alternative relevant properties. You have to have properties that are in the neighborhood that aren't, if they don't like that one, hey, it's okay. What are you looking for? And it's even good to go preview a few days before. Go preview the other listings in the neighborhood. Go look at them. Set an appointment. Go look at them. It'll take an hour of your time to go look at a few properties, maybe 2 hours. That way, when the buyers come, oh, we don't like the floor plan. Oh, what floor plan do you like? We were thinking something more, that looks like this. Oh, really? Well, this house around the corner on, this street is actually, they just reduced it, and it kind of makes me think that y'all would like it from what y'all mentioned. So that shows A, that you know the market, and B, that you're a hustler, and that you can literally help them. I've done that so many times. Actually, I make a habit in my target market. I get an update of new listings, and I go and look at new listings because I want to know what's on the market, and it helps me help buyers and even sellers. It tells them that I know the market. So if you do that, you make a habit of doing that, you'll be very, very educated. So buyer comes in, hey, we don't like this, but it's up to you to say, well, what are you looking for? And then because of your experience walking in those properties, you can tell them, hey, actually, I did see a house that you like. Maybe you snapped a picture on your phone. Maybe you took notes, and you can tell them, hey, if y'all, this open house is over in 30 minutes and 45 minutes. If y'all want to go grab a coffee, I'll set the appointments. And then after this, we can go look at those houses. I've done that multiple times. It works. And then you just snag the buyer. And then, and then it's the basics. Then they might not buy that next house that you found, but then keep showing them, and you will find a house that they like, and you make an offer. So another one, going down the list is bring contracts. I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. So, act as if you're going to get a buyer, so, maybe that contract's not for that house, maybe it's for another one in the neighborhood. It's happened, and it happens all the time. So get in that mindset, and it will happen. The sign-in sheets, real basic, bring in a sign-in sheet. Some people don't like asking people to sign in. They feel like, don't feel like you're asking too much. Like, the way that I look at it is you get to see this house. You get to walk around this house with no pressure and without having to schedule an appointment or anything. All I need from you is to fill out this little sign-in sheet. And it's like online, those free PDFs or free ebooks. Basically, you're trading your email for a PDF or a lead magnet. If you've been in our classes, you know what a lead magnet is. So it's an item. So it's an item of value. So your item of value for these buyers is they get to see a house on their own time frame. No pressure. Of course, you're going to be in the house, but you're not going to bug them. You're not going to bug them. You're going to let them do their thing, as long as they sign in. So then, and they'll be added to your database. I do have a more advanced way to coerce sign-ins, and that'll be coming up in the next open house class. But as long as they sign in, you get their info, and you can market to them, that's all you need. I like putting together a home info booklet to display. Basically, you want to be able to address every question that you can possibly get while you're at the open house. So, details, utilities and upgrades, tax information, school information, and community information are crucial. So that's 2 days before, so you can prepare. The 1 day before is I get 10 balloons, red, white, and blue, and I like to do mimosas. I don't know. I've had good success with it. Worst case scenario, you have to end up chugging a bunch of mimosas. It's not too bad. But about the balloons, don't get balloons too early, too soon, because anything more than a day, and you're going to come back and they're going to be flat, and they're not going to be floating. So your balloons the day of or the day before. I have a little cooler kit that my wife made that has all the little, you can get the plastic champagne flutes for real cheap from Walmart or from Kroger even. Little plastic champagne flutes, they're real fancy, and wish I had a picture for y'all, but it looks pretty cool. I'll on the kitchen island, I'll set up the little napkins with little plastic champagne flutes, little mimosas, and I got water bottles for buyers. And then, I tell people, in my marketing, hey, come by, have mimosa, 21 and up only, of course. You don't want to be giving kids mimosas. That's illegal. But that's my little thing that I like to do. So y'all can do whatever. You can do cookies. I actually recommend cookies. Anything that's fragrant, that's going to get the house smelling good. Cookies, bread. I'm kind of like, I try to be more healthy, so I don't like doing like bread. You can do fruit, or just bring a plug-in, or, you can even simmer some of that potpourri on the stove. That works really well. But just have something, to kind of coerce people, into it. Not necessary, but it helps. The day of the open house, you want to, put up your directional signs. With that being said, you can even do that the night before. It's a little cooler. It's Houston. It's hot as hell. But the directional signs are good because my signs have my number on it. And people have, I put it up the night before, or I'll even leave it out. If I'm going Saturday and Sunday, I'll leave out the directional signs. And I've gotten calls, hey, when's the open house? Oh, it's actually from one, you know, boom, I have a number and I have a name. And then I say, you know, and then I make sure that they go at that time, or I'll set an appointment with them. Uh, but you know, if you have the signs up while you're not there, it's not too bad because you can get some phone calls. People will be like, hey, I drove by the house, but it looks closed, you know, like where you at? So don't leave them up for days. I'm just saying like the night before or the day before or the, you know, a few hours before, get those signs up, and having your number on it's a pretty good idea. I hate, I don't like to say hate, but it kind of bugs me seeing those really cheap and ugly looking little arrow signs that you get from Home Depot or that the Har store. They're so cheap, and that's why everybody gets them. But they're vague and they're unbranded. Go to lowendsign.com or go, you know, I can send y'all some links. Get a nice printed Remax directional with your number, your name and number on it. It's yours. If anybody steals it, they can't use it. But I don't have one in here actually. They're in my car. But they're really nice. It's got an arrow and it's Remax and it's branded. It's got your number on it. So do that. And then, you know, the day of open house, I set up the guest sheet. I set up the little booklet and the mimosas, and you know, just get ready. But we'll have another open house class. So that's and we'll let you know about that one. So the other way, another way that we get that I get buyers is, you'd be surprised, Craigslist. It's still free. It's still free. It's, you know, super cheap. Put your listings, put your listings, or ask a listing agent if, you know, if you see a listing that you like, ask them, hey, can I market this for you? Most listing agents in our office, they're probably going to say yeah. If it's another office, you know, I don't know what they're going to say, but they'd be foolish not to let you market their listing, especially if it's not selling. Craigslist, man, Craigslist. You get buyers. They might not buy that house, but they'll buy another house, and you at least get someone who's motivated, a motivated buyer. And if you have the skills and you know what to do, you'll get them as a client. And we can go over some more specific ways to like what to put on Craigslist. Basically, just put on listings. It's about giving people what they want. So we know buyers want houses. Buyers want a house. Buyers want a good deal, or what they think is a good deal, and vice versa. Sellers want a buyer. So, you know, fundamentally, you're doing the same methods for marketing, and you should be, you know, marketing to buyers as you are the way to listings. You are the way to getting a home, and to a seller, you are the way of getting a buyer, the buyer that they want. So another one that we're having success with is the Facebook ads. If you've been to any of our classes recently with Spencer, he's been doing a lot with the Facebook ads. Specifically, I've gotten 2 buyers in the past week from a Facebook ad. I'm gonna show y'all exactly what I did. I'm gonna share this with y'all real quick. Let me see. Boom. Okay, this is my Facebook business page. You have to have a business page. You see, it looks bad for my this week post, but that's because it's Tuesday and I haven't done anything yet. But you can see for the PSA one right there, you know, I had a listing that was 130 in spring, and I spent $75 and 11,700 people saw it. So let me just show you what happened. So it says public service announcement. You can still buy a nice home in the Houston area for less than 150K. This charming home in a sought after community, blah, blah, blah. And then I created the photo album and I shared the album. So I found the most success with that because people really like pictures. People love photography. People love seeing beautiful pictures. It's like, it's real estate porn, you know, and I spend money on a really good photographer. He is, you know, amazing. And he is the reason a lot of times my listings sell so, you know, so fast. But people love these good photos. So You can see got 115 or 117 people likes, 2 shares, and 14 comments with people tagging their friends and all that stuff, right? 11,800 people saw it, 3,100 people clicked on it. And so if you've been in other classes, you've seen us do something called lead pages. Spencer calls me Lieutenant Lead Pages because I use it for everything. But I made this landing page for that listing, and it's, you could send them a HAR. You could put a HAR link to the HAR. However, with HAR, what's going to happen is they're going to get distracted by the other things that are in HAR, and they're gonna do one click in HAR and they'll be gone. You'll never see them again, unless they really, 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 really want that house. You'll never see them again. They're gonna start looking at other listings. They're gonna start looking at other listing agents. They're gonna start looking at all this other stuff, and someone else who's done the right things is gonna get them as a buyer. So off of $75, I've got 2 buyers. One is pre-qualified and searching, and the other one is we're working on it, but he's in the, he's getting new listings and he's definitely in the pipeline. I made this really simple landing page, and let's go through it. A few pictures, the map, a few stats, more pictures, the stats, and that's it. Can y'all tell me what the number one thing that I'm trying to get people to do on this page? You guessed it. There's only one option. If you come here, there's one thing to do. They're not going to get distracted by anything else. All they're going to do is, boom, submit your info below to request a private showing. I had 2 people with $75. 2 people fill out their info and actually give me their real names, their real emails, and their real phone numbers. And to me, that's a success. And hello, we lost you there. Don't worry, I stopped talking. You didn't miss anything. But we were just talking about 2 hot leads versus 50 cold leads, people that don't want you to call them, who aren't really interested, who you didn't coerce into giving, into them giving you your info. You want a hot lead, or I do. I built my business on inbound marketing. A lot of people do outbound, which is basically, calling as many people as possible, emailing. And I believe in emailing too, but I believe in planting the seeds, items of value, and effectively, my strategy is for people to call me, for people to sign up for themselves and say, Adam, I want to see this house, call me. So you know, that's how I do it. You saw the Facebook ad. You saw how I you know, try to get leads, because I'm essentially stealing leads from HAR. If you, I see every agent do this, and it's, you know, I don't blame you. You don't know what you don't know, but if you link to HAR, they're gone. If you link to any other, you know, real estate website, they're gone. They're 90% chance not coming back to you. So that's what I do, because you could have your own website with IDX. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. And you know, if you're not super tech savvy, it's expensive to get a really, really nice website like a Boomtown or a Commissions Inc. or you know, a Market Leader. Those things are usually over $1,000 a month. That's something that you can link to that has your information as far as IDX searching, but I just make a landing page. Every listing that I do, I just duplicate it. I copy it, boom, it's all there, and then I just replace the photos and I replace the information, and then I make one, you know, one ad. So here's another one that I did, and that, let me show you. So this one was a, you know, $624,000 Heights home. Same thing. I did the photo album. You create the photo album and then you share the photo album. So this one, you know, I got 19,000 paid. I spent $75, 19,000 page reach, paid reach, and 3,200 clicks. And you know, people tagging other people, and 145 likes. And most of those likes are not people that I know. This one didn't. So let me just show y'all, be completely transparent. I got one buyer, and they happen to be working with somebody else, but I got a lot of exposure, and I sold the house. You know, I set a neighborhood, I set a price per square foot. I had a bunch of realtors telling me that it was overpriced. I kind of agreed with them, but my seller was adamant. The thing that set her house apart was she had a $80,000 rear deck, as you can see. But so this house closed, and then I went in here and I put in sold, and I put in, you know, sell my home now sell my home. So if anybody were to find this, they, you know, they're not, it's updated, you know, we sold this home, but let us help you find another. So that's what you do once it sells. But this one, you know, you get a lot of exposure for cheap, for super cheap. You can view results, you know, tells you 21 and 98 people, you know, interacted with my page, with the post. So, you know, some people will say that means nothing, but for the amount of money you're spending, you know, it's really like the most cost-effective way to get a buyer. And it's very specific. So that's ones that you can do with listings. Another thing that I recommend for buyers is, I'm going to give you all a list of stuff, of, you know, things to do, and I'm going to have it in the show notes. We'll send you a link with all the stuff so you can download it and look at it. But you know, you can, there's two ways to do this. To create, I want you to create your own item of value. And it's best that it comes from you. You can hire a writer. You can go to elance.com or Fiverr, Fiverr.com, and you can even hire a writer. Or you can just write it in Google Docs or Microsoft Word, and, you know, create it how you want, and then have someone design it for you. But you know, items of value, lead magnets, 15 things you must know before looking for a house. You know, easy. You create 15 things that you think a buyer needs to know, because we're the experts. So you'd be surprised at what's considered items of value to a buyer. What we consider everyday knowledge is everyday knowledge to us. But put yourself in the buyer's perspective, who knows nothing about real estate. You know, what are 15 things that they might need to know before looking for a home? Or 17 new construction updates that make sense. If you've worked with buyers that have built a house, you know that it can be overwhelming deciding what upgrades to do, and because your sales price will go up real quick. But maybe 17 new construction updates that make sense. If you created that, who do you think would click that and download it? You created basically trade your email for this ebook, and who's going to download that? A buyer looking for a new construction home, or maybe he's thinking about it. So maybe it's 10 construction updates. I tell my clients when building a house, get the expensive stuff and the big things done by the builder, and have it there from day one, and then you can come in later. So some of those items may be the cheap things like crown molding or upgrading the tile is a big deal, because you don't want to mess around with your floor, or getting the add-on or getting the extra bedroom. Those from a realtor's perspective, we know that an extra bedroom or extra square footage will affect the bottom line when you choose to sell down the road. So do you want your buyer spending 10 grand on this fancy marble, or in all the bathrooms, or would you rather your buyer spend 10 grand upgrading for an extra sized game room upstairs that adds 200 square feet? Hey, well, maybe you put that in this list. Or 9 things every first time home buyer needs to know, or how not to get outbid on the house that you really want, or 10 warning signs that you hired the wrong buyer's agent. We can come up with all this stuff. You literally come up with it, and we'll have another class on how to get these items online. We'll make a video, or you can just come to me or Spencer, and we'll show you how to integrate lead pages, or just make a real quick landing page for these little ebooks. And then you make a Facebook ad, and on the Facebook ad you say how not to get outbid on the house you really want. Click here to download. Boom, that's a lead. These days, the money is in the list. The money is in your database. I like to call it a data bank. You got to mine that data bank. There's money in there. 10 home inspection items that you cannot ignore. We all know that home inspections, they're crazy, and they're usually like 40 pages long. A lot of it's very minor, and a lot of it's stuff that just the inspector is covering his butt for. And then we know that there are a few items that are really important, and we always stress those items, right? We always tell buyers, hey, it's going to be really, really full, but what we're worried about is the major ticket items. So we say it all the time, but we don't create anything for it, or most of us don't. So create a Word document. If you still use Word, it's okay, but we'll get you on Google Docs. Just come to us. But create a Word document. 10 items that you cannot ignore in the home inspection. What are those items? We know that one of them is the roof, one of them is the foundation, one of them is electrical, one of them is plumbing, and one of them is termites. Real quick, that you cannot ignore those items, and that in very small cases you can. If your client's an electrician or something and he knows that stuff, that's fine. But even if it's 5 items, that's still an ebook, and that's still, to you, it's common knowledge, but to buyers, it's very sought out information. They want to know this stuff without having to talk to a realtor for an hour. So create these items, and I'm gonna make the list and I'll load it, and then y'all all will get a copy of this list, and you can determine how you want to write it, or if you want to pay for someone to write it. But these things are definitely money makers. Warning, get that internet mortgage pre-approval at your own risk. We all know that buyers are getting pre-approved for mortgages online. It's almost as bad as when a buyer says, oh, I've been requalified. Oh, sweet. With who? Bank of America. Dun, dun, dun. Quicken Loans is just as bad. I've had a pretty bad experience with Quicken, as other little internet, loan companies. But and that's something you could write a little post about, a little paragraph, why it's bad, and outline your facts, and why it's not good for you it's too risky to work with the internet mortgage company. So secrets of home builders, how to 10 things a seller won't tell you, how to buy a home with a small down payment. We know there's programs out there. The problem with this one, and earlier I talked about, you have the power to choose what kind of buyer and what criteria you want to, market to, you want to choose. with that picking the price of the home. That's how you really choose a kind of buyer. If you make a post on how to buy a home with a small down payment, or if you make an ebook, you're going to get people with no money. So if you want to help people with no money and help them get programs, it's still a buyer. It's still a buyer. So, and there are programs with it, or maybe they have money and they just want to reduce maybe they have enough, they want to reduce their overall cost, take advantage of the programs because they're there. Why not? So yeah, that's up to you. How to save money on closing costs, even if you hate negotiating, that's how they get you. How to present an offer that sellers will love. I love like educating the buyers beforehand because I've learned over the years, you tell them up front on that buyer consultation, hey, there's going to be multiple offers. How can we, there's going to be multiple offers, and you should have the expectation that you're going to have to overbid for a house, and that, there's going to be multiple offers and it's going to be tough, and you're not going to be able to lowball and, negotiate like you have been planning in your sleep for the past 6 months. That's not how it works, especially if it's a house under 200,000 right now. So, how to present an offer. We know how to do this. We know that little things help. We know that reducing your option period, increasing your option fee, increasing your earnest money. We know that, not asking for a survey or, little things like that. Those are all little things that can help you get a seller to accept your offer, because we know that it's in the print. There's so much more to a sale than just a sales price. And then, so those are a few good ideas that I like for the buyers, for ebooks. But, I think you'll have 3 really good ways to get buyers, so this weekend, get out there and do an open house. Come to me or Spencer, or look on HAR, look at our agents' listings and ask them directly. If you don't want to, we'll ask them for you. Just, it's Tuesday. I would have your open house scheduled by tomorrow. Wednesday for sure. People are starting to plan their weekends. If you want to get a buyer, then you need to be out there this weekend, at least doing one open house, and put it on Craigslist. You need to promote the hell out of it on Craigslist. Make a Facebook ad. Make a Facebook ad for the open house. Come to me or Spencer if you need help with these items, because you will get a buyer. I cannot stress that enough. If you do the right things, you put up enough signs, and you do your homework, look at the listings in the neighborhood. If there's, go preview them. If there's a neighborhood and there's 5 listings, there's no reason you can't go see all 5 listings this week before the open house. That when a buyer comes at open house, we don't like this house. Oh, well, what are you looking for? And then you pull out your little sheet. You pull out your MLS sheets that you printed off that I told you to print out. Hey, well, I have this house. Look at this house. Did you see this one? Start hitting it. Start looking for them. Go take them to a house. I have written offers Saturday and Sunday, the day that I meet somebody, for a house that I got from an open house. So it's there. Get it if you want it. And Facebook ads. If you're already messing around with Facebook ads, it's a learning cycle. You have to learn. It's, people say, I'm going to go off on Facebook ads real quick. I hear some people say that it doesn't work. And whenever I hear someone say that something doesn't work, questions start going off. Well, what are you doing exactly? What are you saying? What exactly are you saying? What are you linking to? What is once you link them to something, what do then they have the option of doing? What's your goal? So for an open house, your goal would be to increase exposure. And Facebook ads it's super easy. It's an event. You create an event ad to get people to go to that event. That's your goal. And then it'll do a radius. You can choose your audience. But when people say that something doesn't work, the first thing that comes to my mind is that's like saying that, hey, I got a gym membership and I didn't lose weight. How often were you going to the gym? What were you doing when you got to the gym? What are you eating outside of the gym? We all know that just buying a gym membership is not going to magically make your weight fall off. So you have to do things. How you do things is so important. So I hope this sheds some light. There's no reason y'all can't get at least one buyer this weekend from this. And your goal at the open house should be to get one buyer that you can close in the next 45 days, 45 to 60 days. There's no reason. Y'all have the skills, you have the resources. Come to us if you need us. We're more than happy to help you. I'm going to email everyone that watched today. I'm going to email y'all the show notes and some of these links to the results that I've gotten and some ideas for the ebooks. And if y'all need anything, don't hesitate to come out. And I will see y'all later and have a great day. Thank you.